Thank you for joining us for Rosie Rewired, a podcast about women who are building, leading, and shaping technology, not as an exception, but as an everyday reality. Here we drop the rose-colored myths and keep our rosy-colored truth, the lived experience, the nuance, the honesty. These are grounded conversations. We talk about what actually works, what does not, and what needs to be built next, thoughtfully, candidly, and without hype. Rosie Rewired exists because we cannot model what we do not see. Thus, we need our daughters to see this happening. Let's see who influenced us today.
Today's guest is Ann Mitchell, founder and CEO of ChannelSpring. Ann brings over 2 decades of marketing leadership experience supporting top-tier tech brands like IBM, Oracle, and VMware through her work at a Fortune 100 technology distributor. Today, through ChannelSpring, she serves as a fractional CMO for small and mid-sized B2B firms, helping them punch above their weight with strategic, scalable marketing. In this episode, we'll explore what it means to lead with clarity in a noisy market, the rise of fractional leadership, and how to stop doing random acts of marketing. Wow, that is so prescient. I have to say that Joe and I work with a number of companies, and I think every one of them that we work with shares all of those concerns and is struggling with those same things. So I'm so looking forward to this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Likewise, I'm very happy to be here.
I'll jump right in. You spent your career working closely with some of the world's top tech brands, helping grow their business through partner channels. What inspired you to take that experience and start ChannelSpring?
I did. I have worked with hundreds of suppliers and reseller partners. And what I really saw over and over again is there was a segment of the reseller population that could be VARs or MSPs or advisors. But those on the smaller end weren't big enough to get the attention that they needed from the suppliers to equip them to really sell their products and solutions. So when I was in my marketing leadership positions, both at Avnet and Tech Data and later on at TBI, we had partners come to my marketing team asking for additional help. And we weren't equipped when I was in that role to do that, but I knew it was an underserved part of the market. And so after the 4th or 5th acquisition, I decided to take all of that knowledge and experience that I had and open ChannelSpring. And I am serving those partners that I saw as underserved in my prior roles.
Yeah, I was going to say that's really interesting. I remember even when I was at T-Mobile working with Tech Data, and you would think T-Mobile, really big company, a lot of marketing support and so on, but not necessarily in the B2B division and then even further in the channel division. And so when you were working, we started to work with companies like Tech Data. It was like, hey, can we get something? Can we get any kind of support? So I definitely hear what you're saying with that. That's amazing. And what is the value of a fractional CMO for a company that's scaling but doesn't have full in-house marketing team available to them?
That is the value. Anyone who takes advantage of a fractional, not just CMOs, but CIOs, CROs, it is a growing trend. And for good reason. I bring with me Fortune 100 marketing experience that I make available to these much smaller companies for less than the price that they would spend to get a full-time social media person, as an example. I work with most of my clients 10 hours per month or less once we've set their marketing strategy, and I oversee all of the executions. They are getting a wealth of industry knowledge and expertise at a fraction of the investment that it would otherwise be to bring on someone with my experience full time.
You hit it on the head in that it's something we see every day as well, in that we have people in different disciplines. We don't have a chief marketing officer that people can get from a fractional perspective, but we do networking or infrastructure or CIO or CISO or you name it. There's all these other areas where we're doing the same thing. It's just so logical that marketing would be just another avenue where you could get that experienced help to sit on your side of the table, help you figure things out and move forward at a fraction of the cost. It's exactly something we see every day. But that does lead me to a question. What are some of the biggest mistakes B2B companies making today?
Not looking at marketing holistically. So many of the clients that I work with they don't have an internal marketing team, but they have thrown some money at it over the years. Maybe they have invested with someone to do some social media marketing. Maybe they did a Google Ads campaign, or they did a lead generation campaign. But none of that is going to garner the ROI that they are looking for if they don't have a complete system in place. And by that, I mean, it makes no sense for you to go out and buy 20 leads or 20 appointments if you don't have a nurturing mechanism in place. What we find is only about 5% of the people you reach with your marketing message at any given point in time is actually in market for your thing that you are selling. So what happens to the other 95% of those leads or those contacts that you've made if you don't have a nurturing engine in place? They go off into the ether when ideally you want to make that initial engagement with them. And if it's not the right time, fine. But you want to keep your name in front of them so that when it is the right time for them, they think of you. And those kinds of components all work together. Yes, we want to drive traffic to your website, but if your website was last updated 7, 8, 15 years ago, we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that your website reflects what you're trying to convey to your prospects. So all of those pieces have to be in place for any one of those pay-to-play kinds of campaigns to get you the ROI that you're really looking for.
I'm sorry, before I let you go with the next question, what you just said resonated so strongly with me. Last summer, my wife and I were talking to a marketing consultant at the time that we were getting to know just more as friends. And she went to look at our website and she went, "Do you guys sell Middle Earth books?" And I said, "No." And she said, "I don't get what you do then, because all you have is these ancient maps all over your thing. And that's all I could think that you were doing." And I went, "Okay, so much for my brilliant marketing strategy of we have maps and we're your guides and this." So it really took that outside person to say, okay, is that really conveying the message you want to say? But so hear you, completely hear you.
Yeah.
And often it is that, just an outside perspective, right? Because not that I've got the keys to the universe, but I will be asking those same kinds of questions that your prospects will be asking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what you're trying to convey. Odds are not good that the people you're trying to reach will understand what you're trying to convey.
That's right. The upside is we've sold a lot of Lord of the Rings books.
If you can get a piece of that,
Yeah,
great.
Sure. But what you just mentioned with the holistic approach, Paul and I have guests on here, and a lot of times it's IT leaders or it's CEOs and so on. And one of the biggest issues that we see is the alignment that's not there between what IT is doing and what they're pursuing and what the business is doing, the general business overall.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're not stepping back and taking a holistic approach either. And the same thing, as you just mentioned, applies to marketing, where that has to be in alignment as well with everything that the business is doing. And it leads me to the next question about messaging. Now, you talk a lot about simplifying messaging. So why is it that clear and concise messaging is so hard for tech companies?
I think oftentimes it's because they have the ability to serve many different people, to sell all kinds of solutions. If they are working with a distributor, they can sell UCaaS and storage and cybersecurity and telecom expense management. But you cannot be all things to all people. And if you try to convey that message, you're going to miss the mark. You don't want to appear to be a master of none of those things. You want to carve out a niche for yourself so that, if you are focusing on selling UCaaS in St. Louis, we want to position you as the UCaaS leader, the go-to in St. Louis. Not to say you won't ever serve outside of that market, but if that is your bread and butter, that messaging has got to be dialed in. And once you are nailing that, Then you can expand. You can have a second vertical that you also focus on. But it is getting down to the narrowest sliver that you can. In marketing, you want to be laser focused. So even if you're selling, let's just keep going with the UCaaS example, but there are multiple people in an organization who need to buy off on it. So you've got a tech leader and you also have the CFO. And so you've got the CIO, the CFO, maybe the chief revenue officer. Well, you're selling UCaaS, but that's 3 distinct audiences that need to understand what your solution is going to bring to them. And if you're trying to convey that you can also sell cybersecurity or physical security, that all gets diluted. So it is critical that I help my clients hone in on that one thing, their bread and butter. We dial in that messaging very tight. And then once we're firing on all cylinders, then we can expand. But that's the biggest challenge. No one ever wants to leave what they pursue as opportunities. They don't want to leave those on the side of the road. But by focusing more in the long term, they will be much more successful.
I think we ran into that last year
Yes.
as well. We were trying to market as well across 9 different disciplines, and it just it really clouded the message. We've learned it the hard way. So thank you very much.
Most do, but then it sticks with you.
It does. It does. That's how you learn. So with AI, though, shifting buying cycles, what should B2B companies be focusing on in 2025?
I don't really believe that AI shifts this much. Now, AI is terrific. It is a great time saver. It is great for brainstorming. It can help you on your way to good messaging. It's never going to replace an expert. But what we do need to make sure of that we are always focused on the buyer. What's important to the buyer? So regardless of how much faster or more efficiently we are doing things, we still have to come back to that so what test. Great, you're faster. Why do I care? Well, we have to spell out those reasons why us being more efficient benefits you, the prospect, the customer. And I think 80% of messaging can be solved by revisiting that so what test. Ask it 5 times. We're faster. So what? That means we can get more of XYZ done. So what? And dialing down, it's an annoying exercise, but very fruitful because we want to get to that piece, that little nugget that your prospects are going to relate to. Oh, I do have that problem. I didn't realize that them being faster was going to fix that problem, but now I get it. Because a big part of what we have to do as marketers, sometimes our prospects don't know that they have the problem that we can fix. So first we have to educate them. Are you experiencing these things? XYZ, spell them out, the kinds of things that are manifesting in their business day to day. They may not have pulled that together in their mind that it's what the source of that is. And then we can introduce that we have the solve for that issue. So it is a lot of education. AI doesn't change that. But I would say where AI has impacted things is that our buyers are more savvy. They can do a heck of a lot of research before they ever talk to a salesperson, and they do. So what has changed where you could 5, 7, 10 years ago, my clients and I were buying leads. I could buy a package of 10 appointments and probably 2 of them would close. That's no longer the case. That was capturing people at the bottom of the marketing funnel. And we can't do that anymore because people are researching up at the top of the funnel. And so they're educating themselves. They already know the pitfalls that they might face with that solution. So you want to be a part of that education process. You want them to see your content up here. So by the time they get down to the bottom of the funnel, they have a know, a like, and a trust factor with you that will definitely help you convert more in the end.
If I can throw a curveball at you and just take a tangent off of that last question, how do you see AI playing in the sense that so many companies are not working with a professional like you and saying, oh, well, I'll just use AI and it'll write my marketing for me. And now everything starts to sound the same.
Mhm.
Do you see that as well?
Yes. And AI is great. I use AI every single day, but it is cringeworthy to me. I can go on and read blogs, and there are phrases that are used over and over again in the ChatGPT or Perplexity, or they just use them over and over again. And I check out. So people are, yes, they can do a lot of research, but it's not the same as having someone say, yes, I've dealt with this in 3 other clients. Let me tell you what we did wrong, what we learned from that, and how we adjust for it. You won't get that in AI, at least not right now.
Well, unless you do a deep dive.
Unless you know the right questions to ask too.
I was more kidding. We seem to see the term deep dive or delve
Yes.
so much more than we ever did before ChatGPT came around.
And in today's ever-shifting landscape, that one, oh my gosh, I can't even read further when that happens.
Pretty much. This has been outstanding. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to relay before we jump into the most important part of the section, which is our More Than Mere Genius questions? Is there anything you wanted to share for somebody that is looking to potentially reach out to you?
Just that, first of all, please do reach out to me. There's no obligation. I'm happy to walk you through how I work with clients. I'm happy to pair you up with other clients I've worked with so you can get the firsthand experience. But I am very open. I don't want to do an engagement unless I know that I can really add some value and help you move the needle. So I will be very open about saying that's not really my expertise, but I have a great network. So I'm happy to pull in others who might be a better fit if it doesn't look like the right kind of engagement for ChannelSpring.
Okay, great. As Paul mentioned, we're moving into our More Than Mere Genius questions. Now, Anne, as a marketing expert, I want to get your opinion. More Than Mere Genius, if you noticed, is MTMG. It's the same as our company name now. What's your opinion on Paul's marketing prowess there for making that the same acronym?
Great, but I did not put all of that together.
Ah.
So help us connect the dot.
Okay. All right. That's why I'm here.
Very fair. That's it.
All right. So these are questions about you. You just answer spontaneously what the first thing that comes to your mind. There's no right or wrong answers and whatever you're comfortable with. So we'll jump right in. So outside of work, what is an activity that you're passionate about?
I love golf. I'm not good at it, but I love it. I took it up 3 or 4 years ago, and there's a lot that I really enjoy about it. I love to be outside. Golf courses are always beautiful. So that's great for my mental processes, unless I'm really playing poorly. And then I don't know how beneficial it is. But I like it. It is a mental and a physical challenge just to try and dial that in. And so I have really enjoyed getting deeper into that over the last few years.
It's a wonderful sport. I'm terrible at it as well, but it is wonderful.
I have that on my LinkedIn profile. I've got mediocre golfer in there. And that's a great conversation starter because almost everybody who golfs is a mediocre golfer.
That's right.
This is very true. Name one book or podcast that has inspired you.
I haven't been the best about reading business books until this year. I challenged myself to get much better at that. And there is a book that has helped me get out of my own way from a business perspective, and it's by Stacy Tuschl. It is called Well-Oiled Operations, and it allowed me to move into what I'm really good at in my business and hire people to do the rest so that I can offload things like bookkeeping. I've got a great virtual assistant. I pull in people for graphic design and for video editing because those things, while I can do them, are not where I want to be, and it sucks the joy out of my life. So that book has really impacted my daily work in a real way.
Who was an important mentor for you at any time in your life?
Oh, that's a great question. When I was very early on in my career, I had a boss who took a chance on me and hired me. And then when he left that business, he went to a technology distributor that was later acquired by Avnet, and he recruited me for a job that I was not equipped to do. But he took a chance on me and poured into me. And that has it changed the trajectory of my career. But I also saw that as something really to aspire to as we grow in our experience and expertise, to be pouring into other people and bring them alongside you, because you can really impact people's lives that way. Shout out to Dennis Stoltenberg. He was that guy.
Outstanding. Which talent that you do not have would you most like to?
I don't know if this is a talent really, but I tend to have a million different ideas going. I can kick them off really well. I don't always finish them. So I think I would like to have some of the attributes of more of a kind of an operator who takes a vision and runs with it, versus I have the vision and then it's really a drag to get it to come to fruition sometimes. So I'd like to have a little bit more of that operational project management finishing capability than I currently have.
Excellent. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
London. I would spend some time in London. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there forever, but I would love to live in London for a year or so. I love that city.
I think that city's incredible. I agree with you. I don't think any of us could afford it, but
No.
it is a wonderful city.
Mm-hmm.
So what profession other than yours would you love to try?
I always have loved performing arts, not necessarily on stage, but I love the production, if you will. I love the backstage components of that, and pulling something together to fulfill a vision that is just magical when you're in the thick of that performance. I don't know exactly what I would do in that, but that sounds like a lot of fun.
And that's very related to marketing too, if you think about it.
It is actually.
Yeah.
We're pulling together all of this strength for one common goal.
Yep. So who is your favorite superhero?
Much of a superhero. I have 3 sons, so we did see all of the superhero things, but I'm a fan actually of the more comical aspects of the most recent superhero movies. Is it Daredevil? I think it's Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at this because I just don't relate to superheroes. It's Ryan. What's his name?
You're thinking of Deadpool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Is he an anti-hero? I don't know.
He's perfect.
He made me laugh.
Yeah, I completely get that too. It's not for everybody, but B, they brought that so well to life. Really outstanding. So what is your favorite sound?
Oh, I'm a Denver native, have lived close to the mountains my whole life. I love being up in the mountains, preferably near a creek, but not like a raging river, because I want a little bit of the water. But I love the sound of the wind in the trees, with a little bit of the water sound in the background.
Excellent. What is your favorite song when you're stressed or need a lift?
There is a song called, I think it's Let's Do It. Jamie Longo, I think is his name, or Lano. But it is one of those songs that I think I had as a walk-up song when I was doing some public speaking. And it's just one of those things that kind of hypes me up. And now I can't think of the name of the song, but it's one of those things that's on my playlist. I have it on my workout playlist. It's just one of those things that kind of gets me up and moving.
I think everybody has a song that does that. And that's one of the reasons we asked this question, because we love everybody's different perspectives on it. So think that's great. And we'll look it up and we'll make sure that it's in the show notes so that people can go
Okay.
and listen to it for themselves.
I can send it to you too.
What is the one thing you most want to be known for after you're gone?
Outside of business, because obviously there's so much more to life, I do want to be known as someone who pours into others and makes a positive impact in the lives of others, whether that's my sons, my husband, my extended family, and the people that I work with. I want to be known as someone who cares about others and will lift you up.
It's a great answer. That's a great answer. So thank you so much for joining us today. This was a fantastic conversation. And I think it's really clear you've been through this. You know what you're talking about. And there's so much good that can be done if people just reach out to you.
Yes, and I would love it. I appreciate the opportunity today. Been a fun conversation. I hadn't thought about my favorite song or my favorite sound, so those are fun questions. But I'd love to talk with anyone who has an interest. No obligation, just a quick conversation.
Outstanding. We will absolutely give all the ways to reach out to you in the show notes. And thanks so much for joining us.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you for spending this time with Rosie Rewired. We'd love to hear your feedback, so please see our show notes on how to contact us.